Channel for the Soul Life. We're going to talk about that nature of what it means to be a channel. And this vision was a destroyed vision for one or two souls only. We had some sound issues due to a microphone issue, and we want to apologize for those of you that are just tuning in to see how complicated it can be to do a vision of love on the fly, right? These episodes are often planned in advance, weeks at a time. And in other words, the soul of George Clooney was also invited back to do his vision of love. What we were talking about in the video that was unfortunately misplaced right now, it was about guilt in the spiritual mindset. And in doing that vision, what we realized is that love for all is there. What we don't want to do is a repeat performance of Christian value systems. Okay, this isn't about the Christian values. It's more about those of us who are on the path of discovery of our souls from a different plane of understanding or a different set of ideas. Okay, it doesn't mean it discards any soul's vision of love, but it's from that vibration of, oh, I'm all that and more. That's where most people start to, it's like enlighten themselves to the beauty of the spiritual realms. What that does is it opens us up to the topic of guilt and the destruction of our souls. Many of us feel the guilt when we come into the plane of love of sexuality or love of those fields of endeavors that many are being told they need to repress in order to be free and clear of the guidance that would say, you are not just a Christian soul. Okay, so these are for those souls that are of faith in a certain faith, right? No. So this is why for those of you that may cherish those visions, we are going to say very much so that a lot of that idea of what I am going to do is going to be brought through as a love of soul. And when that happens, it means you might hear from those souls that you don't necessarily agree with or even encounter in the dream state. So for my soul, I get to feel the beauty of the souls that my own soul have kind of deemed appropriate for this vision. Now, how many people assume that the George Clooney soul is one of celebrity in his mind, right? It's like of fame and fortune. And his vision was, I'm going to run the race. And that means it's like the spotlight is on. I want you to feel the beauty of who you are no matter where you are. That's where a lot of women are going, right? He's like, no, I want everyone to understand that we all have our own cherished traditions to feel good about if and when possible, right? Others of us are taking off those shackles of slave state and utilizing the it's like those books of, it's like tools of conditioning. And they are indeed tools of conditioning. And they are indeed valued in the realms of soul and love. But what we are going to be seeing is the destruction of the planet in some of those visions. If we don't what? Caretake our hearts? No. Take the action needed? Right? And this is why we ask ourselves, how come we are watching a video about George Clooney? It is just one of many in the realm of love of all. Now, does it mean that you, as a wise one, right? You are wise. You're very distinctive in your personality. You're very triumphant in your character witness of those who are going to play a big part and role in the near future. And what does that have to deal with the topic of guilt? Guilt is being brought through as one of those visions that we align ourselves with many times in order to show ourselves who we think we are or who we think we need to be. If I am not able to rise into a beautiful vision of friendship, does that mean that I need to feel guilty for it? Or shame? Because I'm not aligned with someone else's mindset that says they have the answer? The golden ticket to love, right? How many people are looking for that vision? I want the golden ticket. I want the one that's going to give me my heart. That's his soul. I want the one that knows how to handle the vision of I am of strength, I am of wisdom. I hold my key to my soul very close. I'm of privacy in my wisdom. I don't speak out against those of faith, but inside I'm the warrior of all. He's very much of a, I love who I am, and I want to be part of this vision only in the spirit of it. I'm not here to tell you what to do or say. What I will do is to honor the friendships that we create on a soul level. And he's beauty embodied in his mind at some point. He's got the beauty, all right, and that's his soul of wife. Okay, so they are a creative unit of discovery, and they are also of love of selves. So, they feel good together as a creative endeavor. They have their visions of what many are going through, and it's like the Christian faith, of course, but it's many souls are being told to watch their mindsets, because you don't know what you're going to be creating when you do those visions of love with your own heart. How many people want to go to that kind of vision where we have to walk on eggshells because we might tick somebody off in another realm of love? I don't vibrate in the beauty of religion for the most part, right? I can honor it. I didn't partake in it for the most part. But I also know that there are it's like struggles in the mindsets of many around what that means for us here in this country of the United States of America versus that in the vision of I am of love of all, or love of soul. And that means we honor your visions as souls. What we don't do is we don't demean the vision of whatever it is that is helping to lift you up into a place of I love who I am. I'm guilty of sin. Those ideas are gone for the most part in the future. And this is what I'm going to tell you. It's like people are going to say, no way, no how. You'd be surprised what happens. Because when we feel that we are flawed or guilty in some way, shape, or form, right? I did nothing wrong by coming to this plane of development. I can guarantee you that. This is where the fun begins. Most people will say it's the destructive nature of visions. What are we creating, right? We don't need to create from a place of destruction as much as honor it, look at it, and see, can we get us on a different path? You see, that's the nature. Many people are being told, don't beat your kids. And yet many in those fields of visions are telling themselves, I'm justified in doing so. And then we wonder why our children grow up to be those who beat onto other people. It is not an all or one, right? All or one? You can do no harm in the religious realm, apparently. That's the nature of it. And yet we tell ourselves often, I must go and confess my sins. Or do I do the duty of praying for Brenda? I hear those prayers from some souls about who I am and what I am to do. Others would say, envisioning yourself as Christ is a sin. How many people are expecting that vision to come through and say, the sinners of the world are the ones lobbing a lot of that guilt and shame onto others. What we need to do is to allow ourselves to look in the mirror and ask ourselves the questions that need to be asked. Who am I? And how am I to be? Am I here to be the one to do the destructive vision that was set before me upon my path as a child? These are those tools of conditioning for whatever vision of conditioning that you want. This is not only about religious understanding, it's about spirituality. And the spiritual mindsets have very much deemed it okay to do whatever it is that needs to be done, as long as we realize that we will bring more of that vision back into our own lives as we do it. So you are going to see how many people get handed their hats when they say, "What? Have you not seen the direct correlation between how much I throw out at people and how much I receive?" Okay? This is where many will see through the barriers of love and say, you're only hurting yourself by labeling others less than you, less than anybody else. You are not the institution in which you participate. And we must remember that, people. I am of a society of worshipers, and we align with the highest of the highs, and yet we tear ourselves down in the process. That's where many are. I have been torn down bit by bit so that I can no longer participate with others in a way that allows them to cherish the beauty in which I vibrate. I'm not here to make friends, am I? That's where her friendships are. I align with those who think like I do. I love who I am. That's the nature where people are. I don't give two blanks about other people's feelings or misgivings, right? No. But that's where most are aligning. I cannot handle being around people who claim they are of the high, and yet they throw out the spiritual mindset when it is convenient for them. I am is all that I am. I claim no worship of any other soul as Brenda. She has embodied her soul. She allows for my embodiment to bring out the outer realms of discovery, which then can claim to bring through the future as a predictive quality and a predictive trait. She has the tools of projection very much within her source of wisdom. And then she looks out into the world and sees, who did I create with and why? So when you align with those who are saying, we are just as bad at guilt and shame in the spiritual mindset, whether we are dishing it out or on the receiving end from others. To receive the guilt and shame from others would mean we would actually acknowledge it as part of who we are. We are unwinding it from the religious realms for the most part. You see, what we do is we realize that we just align with those who understand that it's just a conditioning of our minds, often from those people in our lives who told us we were meant to be a certain way, versus I rise in the beauty of my sin. That's another person's perspective. Okay, they would say I rise in that beautiful vision. But others are often more aligned with the vision of I'm going to take off the shackles of it and align with those that say I'm here to be beautiful in whatever way I deem to be, and my soul as an embodied soul will guide me along the path. But for those of us who are not allowed that vision of embodiment as of yet, it's not an allowance. But if you believe that you are not meant to do that work, it does not mean you are not doing it on your own. By all means, do not feel like you cannot do soul embodiment on your own. What we often do is go outside the field of a certain system and we say, what lifts me up here? And to lift you up, does it mean that I have to be what? The warrior, a Christian warrior or a spiritual warrior in order to do the breathtaking vision of love? Many are holding themselves up in this vision of, I've got the answers for all, when in fact it is an impossible, it's like feet. There is no such vision that could possibly have the answers for all. For in that vision, the slave state would come into that realm of understanding, and we would be slaves to one man's vision, right? Or one soul. Many in the spiritual enlightenment know I free myself from those who dictate to me that there is only one way to be, and I allow for others to cherish who they are in whatever ways they can, right? Or in whatever ways they are. And we see the beauty behind that vision. But if I am to be of predictive qualities or predictive traits, I am is on his way now. In the last video that was deemed unimportant for the most part because it wasn't broadcast live. This is live. My soul is saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe I messed up. Brenda was not told of the dire straits in which she found herself recently, and she managed to have her hearts vibrate her out of that vision into one of love for the souls. She's now received the vision of when that next Christ soul is to make his appearance in the public eye, for he is already walking upon the plane of this earth in the field of one level of understanding. Hallelujah, amen, right? This is not going to be pleasant for any of those souls who feel that they are superior to anyone else. I can guarantee you that. What you have to realize is that your own soul is intuitively blending with that vision and saying, I honor a heart that says that I have to work at doing my vision of wisdom. His is, it's like spouting out the religious realms left and right. He is going to be seen as destructive to religious realms, but it is in honor of all those souls who came before that we say amen to those souls. These are those religious undertakings that many are saying are destructive to our natures. It's not destruction unless we let it be destruction. Hallelujah, right? Brenda also hears that. But this is about the nature. Spirituality does not, it's like disclosing the field of vision of love. People are saying she's going to be talking about predictions of future that are being brought through. And there were some souls who were watching who were being given foretelling vision of their own. Wilhelmina is one vision. Someone else is like layering clay. It's going to be a good day for certain people if they watch those visions. What we want to show you is that when we say, I love you, I want more. This is where George Clooney is. He wants more than what he has, correct? Or is he grateful for the experience that he has partaken in order to show her the beauty of her own heart? I can align with those of celebrity status. And what happens is that many belittle their visions based on where they ride in their ideas of love, of family or friends, or the faith-driven souls. He's of faith. We're all of faith, right? Not even close. This is not going to be a foretelling of the destruction of anyone's soul, any one planet, or anyone's vision. If you are here to rise in the vision of love of all, by all means, come on in and have a seat. We will take you on a ride of your life when you go through that process. Now, as Brenda has stated very clearly, I don't mess around with people's bodies or minds. I'm not here to tell you that I can go in and adjust your energy, but by all means, you want to know what that's like to have her know the medical status of someone that she knows based on the information her own soul is giving her? Do you want to know what the predictive qualities of intuition is or are related to my psychic abilities or beyond his? There are many here who are claiming I am of psychic vision or I am of intuition. Both are valid, both are beautiful. We're going to enhance the intuitive abilities of our planetary loved ones. So basically, the reason why we're bringing around planetary love are there are many souls who are envisioning their lives based on the planetary alignments, and we want to honor those souls right in this moment. That's how strong I am. Now, for those of you who wonder, why would George Clooney come through on a vision about guilt and shame, right? No, it's just guilt. This is literally us working through the ideas that we often feel it without even knowing why. And it's because it can invade our secrecies. Okay, many people are carrying those secrecies around and saying, I must feel guilty, and we want you to be, it's like, be free and clear. This is a soul vision of the secrets that we hold in our hearts often come back to us when we embody our souls, and they bring us to those places of wisdom and love and say, I love you for who you are, even if we didn't agree on this plane of development, okay, the earth plane. This is that nature. We often feel like we're going to create havoc for all those souls around us who are telling us, just speak the truth. That's Brenda's vision. Just speak the truth and stop telling lies. Stop telling half-truths. Stop giving us false reality. Do you know what the answer for that is? I don't give a blank about your reality. That's where her soul rises. Because you see, in the moment, most people have no idea what it's like to hear from the Trump soul as a loving guide at one point in time, only to hear the degradation of her own vision of where she resides on this plane of development. That tells you the strength of love. Now, when people say, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? The negativity that we see projected on the screens of internet or TV are often what are triggering us into those fields of visions of, I need to leave and go find a better profession, right? This is why someone's saying it's a professional attitude. You must hold yourself high and never look back. Okay, this is what people are doing. People assume that the trajectory of our soul is beyond his. Okay, so my vision is that if I can bring through a love of prayer for certain souls, like George Clooney, who would deny it in one way, but in another he would honor it and say, I get it. Most of us were brought up in those visions of prayer or of what? Faith? Not even close. A lot of us are starting to free ourselves from the idea of what it means to say, I'm asking for something and creating from a place of lack versus I'm setting myself free from the guilt of all sins. That's where it's like her rising was because she let go of the guilt that was being placed on her by those of religious institutions and saying, not my cup of tea. I don't feel guilty for my life. I made mistakes. I honor my life. I made no mistakes, right? The mistakes that I made were those in which I learned and I created anew. At that point in which I had a love of life. That's what you get when you go through this process. And it's like there's another George Jones that wants to come on, but in essence, George Clooney saying, no, 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 no. That's his soul. I'm the one. I'm the one that's doing the work for my heart. I'm the one doing the work for my family. I made it. I'm there. I can't say what I want to say because I'll be blasted by my own family. I'll be blasted by friends who I adore on one level or two. You would be surprised what those levels are. And then you would say, absolutely adored by his soul. He is. Others who would claim victory dance over someone else, they would say, I'm going to do a victory dance when my predictions come true and yours don't. We honor those visions. As souls, you will start to see the visions of what rising into the awareness of love of all can bring you. But it doesn't mean that it's always easy, and it doesn't mean that it's always of prayer. We create as just beings. Let's be just. What does that mean? I don't need to tell people anything other than his soul is a vibrational being and he's feeling the pinch of others' visions placed upon his heart. Okay? So in that honor of his soul, we're going to let his vision rise with the soul of celebrity again. So that's his vision for himself, is he's like, I'm not done yet. Okay? And when we talk about why would that soul come through, it's like in the vein of guilt. And this is what many are saying. They're saying, I'm breaking free from my faith. But it's not breaking free from faith as much as it is it's like told to me. And there are so many versions of love, of self, that we can't always embody everything. If I wanted to be a warrior of spirituality, I would be coming through armed to the teeth, right, with words of wisdom, saying, here's what you do. You align with your soul and you say, I am forgiven. And you forgive. And that's the nature of it. Did you make it okay with the other person? Right? Who am I feeling guilty? Did I do something wrong? Sometimes we can mend those fences. Other times we have to say, I'm good on my own. Okay? Most people know that the guilt that we feel is often placed upon us by our families or society or sometimes friends and acquaintances. It depends. But usually those relationships are the ones that will kind of ease away if they are not being tended to. Okay? And so this is where a lot of people are starting to go out and say, oh, I belong in the spiritual realms rather than, my family or my friends or the religious institutions. And then they find the same damn thing there. More guilt thrown out, more blame, more visions of you're less than if you believe X, Y, or Z. That's not going to cut the mustard in the near future. You have to rise into a vision of I love who I am always. And then your soul comes in and says, I'm better, right? No, what happens is that it's like an embodiment of beauty from other realms. And you feel confident and secure in your wisdom. You feel confident and secure in your heart. And those people that come through that try to guilt you, you say, by all means, show me your wisdom. They're showing you that in the moment, whatever that may be. It doesn't mean that it's to be demeaned. It's just not your cup of tea. Or you can say to yourself, loving myself gently. I love myself gently. Some of us are here to, it's like flame torches. There are people that are throwing torches at others, right? We have so many fields of development with Brenda's heart. She's like, I can't even keep up with the visions. You're going to hear the spiritual mindset get deconditioned as well. Because when we have one field of study that's saying that they are better than, just because they've done the work that others are doing on a different field. So this doesn't mean everyone's going to have a mass awakening in the next 20 to 30 years, but it will be very much coming through for a lot of souls who aren't even expecting it, because they're going to see those fields of vision that they believed in start to unravel. Okay, and this is the nature of what we love. We love to unravel the future sometimes, and that means those glorifications of the end of the world are not where we're going. It's a beautiful vision for those who want to go to the next realm of love, but all of us here are saying, oh, we don't need to die in order to embody our own souls and to combine with the wisdom of love of all. That's that nature. Okay? So with that in mind, we want to say adieu, right? It's French, right? No, we're going to say thank you for watching. If you are in the vision of I love who I am, do whatever you are doing that lifts you up. Please yourselves with your visions. If you're going into any groups or institutions that make you feel less than, question, why am I here with these souls? Question. And if the answer is, I'm told that I need to, please reconsider. And it's like honesty. Look for the honesty in your own heart. Do I want to be here? Do I want to be here? Or am I obligated to be in this field of vision? Am I obligated? If you are under the field of vision of I'm obligated to be with this family tree, then by all means, break free, right? We understand people are being tortured in this world due to their own values. It's like value sets. And we want people to see what that means. For those who feel that they are here to endure the vision of corporal punishment, that vision is to go away. The beating of children is to go away. The vision of females as risen is upon us. The vision of George Clooney is saying, I cherish my wife. I have no other interest in my field of vision. She's my everything, my all. And I honor her as much as I possibly can. And I feel her heart. I feel her wisdom. I see her strength. I see her dignity. And I see it's like the travesty of the worldly treasures coming forth into our hearts. So we often feel like those of wealth are somehow to be demeaned because they made it in one field of endeavor. In another, he's feeling the pinch of age. It's a, don't knock me down, honey. That's what he would say to his wife. Don't knock me down. We are all being told that people need to feel a certain way in order to rise into a higher field of development. You are going to see the strength and dignity of women rising outside of the field of dependency on males in certain areas of this country or of this world. Actually, many women are starting to rise into those fields. Do not guilt me for not having your own vision placed upon your heart. So for those of you who are saying, I need to hear from my own family tree, we would say that's another type of session. That's the guidance for the soul session. And for those of you who are saying, I miss the George Clooney soul, right? His vision is very strong. We often don't see these celebrities for a long period of time, and they're being discarded because in essence, they're saying to themselves, my family, my friends are more important to me at this moment in time. And what's being discarded is not them, but many are. They're saying this is a person of fame, and therefore they are not worthy of consideration for wisdom. And we are saying absolutely not. Do not deny people their visions. They are most enlightened in many cases. It depends on who you are vibrating with. If you align with their hearts, you will see. I may not agree with them about one field of vision, and it could be a political ideology, but maybe on another field of vision, if we're in the same mindset about faith or religion or spirituality, then we would honor that. Right? How many people are saying, I don't go to my groups anymore because I can't align with the mindsets of those who are tearing people apart? Okay? That's not fun. And as a soul of soul, I will say thank you for watching. Enjoy your freedoms again. We are going to be exploring those freedoms one by one in the field of vision of presidential visions of past, to see who can highlight the visions of where we go next on Channel for the Soul. Take care.